Hello friends, welcome to this session of Build Your Startup with Nischal Kapadia on channel Haiku. So today what I will share is about your idea or product that you would want to create into a large business. I will do this in two parts. One is the idea or the problem stage of this process, and the second part would be about the solution stage of what you are working on, because finally what we are all trying to do is to identify a problem that the environment is facing, and we are trying to find a solution which is scalable and addresses the gaps that are existing. So the first session will be about the idea or the problem part, and the second part will be about the solution and how do you go about finding it. So let's begin. Now when we talk about the idea or the product and the problem that we are trying to solve, let's understand the first and the most important thing. Is it a problem which is really large, or you can say popular? Is it a concern for a large audience? What do I mean by that? Don't try to identify or build something where the problem itself is not a big problem or a pain point. What you have to do is you have to identify if it impacts a large audience. Is it impacting a smaller audience, but is it a continuous niggle or a issue that they are facing? If it is, go about building on it. Next, when you do this, is the problem growing or is it already getting solved? Think about this. Say for example e-commerce. We have seen Amazon, Flipkart, maybe Snapdeal, and we are seeing many other players not succeeding beyond these two to three players. Now the problem exists, the solution exists, but we also understand the industry as such is no more open for many other players. There are variants, yes, but if you see, if the third player has to come in or the fourth player has to come in, has to be equally dominant. So understand, is that problem really growing or it has already saturated itself? So before you build, think about this. Fourth, how urgent or important do you think it is for the users to get a solution to this problem? Think about this. If it is not very important, will people come and subscribe to what you are doing? Is it good to have, or is it something which will really help people to sail through the challenges they are facing right now? Think about this. A lot depends on this, because nobody really wants to make an extra effort if the problem itself is not a big problem for them. Yeah. And finally, is it mandatory or a frequent issue that these people are facing? When you are solving a, say for example in your schools, colleges, in companies, earlier we used to share our files, right? What was happening? We used to use a floppy disk, then people came with a CD, then people came with pen drives, and that's how we used to transfer our data, right? But today we have solutions like a Google Drive, etc. Now what has happened here is, the entire challenge that people used to face is to transfer the data. They used to lose a lot of time. People could not work together because the transfer had to take place. Maybe physically, if you had a pen drive or a floppy or a disk to transfer data, you have to wait till that physical transfer happens from one place to the other, and so on and so forth. So it was a problem that a lot of people were facing. It was consistently growing because more and more people were using the facility to transfer data, and it was something which nobody had really addressed. A solution like a Google Drive actually completely eliminated that problem that people faced, because it was faced by a very large audience. Now it was being faced frequently. Urgency, if it was solved, people are more than happy to have it. And was it a kind of a mandatory issue that everyone was facing? Yes, most of them who were wanting to transfer data were facing this issue. This solution has been now say addressed by something like a Google Drive, WeTransfer, etc. In fact, there are solutions now which are so advanced that you can actually work parallelly with multiple set of people, and the changes can be seen, right? So you're actually wasting no time. In fact, you're working parallelly. So think about this. When you are solving a problem, are you solving a very important problem, which is growing, which is faced by your consumers frequently, and is it also urgent to be solved? If you can quantify all of these things, if you can identify these parameters in what you are trying to do, you will realize that whether there is a huge opportunity or is it something which is not so important for your audience to solve. That's where you can gauge the potential of what you are doing. So think about these points. In the next video, we'll talk about the solution part of what you are planning as your idea or a product. So see you there.